Hello, I'm Yakov Ajus from Yakov Ajus and Associates. The Malta Permanent Residence Program is one of the most sought after routes from families and investors looking to establish a base in Europe. Today, I'm joined by Jonathan Cardona, Residency Malta's CEO, and together we'll be answering the key questions about Maltese permanent residence. Jonathan, thank you for accepting this invitation. You have been in the investment migration industry for more than a decade, and now you lead Residency Malta. From your vantage point, how has Malta's strategic approach to residence evolved over the past decade?
Well, I think the whole sector is very important for Malta. The concept of residence by investment here has been available for quite a long time, for a number of decades, and has always continued to evolve to attract different kinds of people. I think that the program that we have at the moment is one which attracts a very wide array of people. A country like ours, a small country, always seeks to attract new talent, and that is how these programs are built. Basically, it's two-pronged: attract talent and also bring direct investment to the country. And these are the two tick boxes that we try to do.
When we speak about Malta's permanent residence program, what is its strategic purpose? How does it fit within Malta's broader residency framework? And what role does it play in the broader economic and geopolitical model?
As I was saying, I think these particular programs try to attract individuals who can contribute something to the country, be it both economic and also experience, networks. And we are always trying to coordinate with other government entities so that we identify those individuals who can contribute from idea perspective, building a factory, bringing innovative ideas, and matchmaking with other government entities such as Malta Enterprise, such as Malta Business Registry. It depends on the background and what the idea is. And this is how we try to flourish our economy.
Who is eligible for the MPRP, and what kind of applicant is the program best suited for?
There are, I would say, three kinds of applicants which are targeted for this program. One of them are those families who would like to move lock, stock and barrel. Even the way the program is structured, it allows for the whole family to be able to relocate. If they decide to move to another country, this is an option. There is the second one, which are those who are seeking to build a business in Malta or in Europe, because this gives them a base to start their business. Finally, there are those families, which is a significant chunk as well, who want a plan B. You know, they are quite okay in their country, but they feel a certain of uneasiness for whatever reason, and they just want to be sure that when trouble happens in their country, they can relocate at the opportune time. I think those are the three categories of people who are attracted to this program.
So let's walk through the application process from start to finish. What should applicants expect?
So, first of all, I think one of the most important things is to select a good agent, because a good agent will help them go through the whole process in the least painful way. And it can make or break the whole application. So once they select the agent, they submit the application, we evaluate it and come back with our decision, which normally with the current timelines take about 4 months. Then the ball is in their court. They contribute their obligations, which mainly is the final fees and contributions to the country and the property element. Once those are completed, they come to Malta, take the biometrics, and we issue the permanent certificate. So basically, these are the major steps.
During that process, what would you say are the most common friction points that lead to delays or maybe even a rejection?
I think the biggest headache is when they do not present us a clear picture. Largely, it would go down to their net wealth, how the wealth of the family has been built along the years. And that is why I always stress that it is important to have a good agent to be able to guide you to build the file, the documents required for us to be able to analyze and proceed with the application, proceed with the due diligence of the application. I think that the number one big issue is a great lack of documents being submitted with the application.
Yeah. And on that point, how do you think the applicants should demonstrate their source of wealth in a clear and convincing manner?
So, in the world we live today, everything is accessible online.
Yeah.
So I think what is important is that they do the narrative of how they got to their current position, everything which is of substance, and we don't need every euro and every cent. We were not after that granularity. But if someone has a good net wealth, we need to have a good understanding through a narrative. And that has to be substantiated with documents. So if a person sold a property, which forms a significant part of his wealth, it is important that you have a document which substantiate that amount of money. If companies were bought or sold, again, those are the kind of instances where documents would be required. Sometimes it goes to pay slips or tax returns.
Yeah.
So it depends very much on the circumstances of the family and of how the wealth was built.
So beyond mere eligibility, what would you say distinguishes a strong MPRP application from one that is maybe a bit more vulnerable?
I think, again, this ties a bit to the previous questions. It's how it is presented to us. A strong application, one which will go smoothly, very fast, would be one which is complete and correct with the documents that you require, with the certifications that are required, with the police conduct that is required. If those elements are there, normally our application would go very, very quickly. When something is missing, especially in the representation of the wealth, then that triggers questions with coming and going over questions, answers, clarifications, and it will become vulnerable because sometimes if an application is not presented well, it might look as if the applicant is trying to hide.
Right.
And it's not just, it was a mistake, but sometimes they give the impression that they're trying to hide.
That's intentional.
Yeah. And that doesn't go down very well with our assessors. Our assessors are very picky. They're doing their job. So they need to be sure that everything is cleared.
Perfect. Let's address the costs of this solution. So can you give a breakdown of the financial requirements, including property, contributions, and of course the agencies?
Yes, I think Malta is one of the most competitive programs out there, given the quality and timeline. So there is an admin fee of 60,000 euros, which covers all our costs, and a government contribution of 37,000 euros. Apart from that, then there's the property element, which we give the option to either lease or purchase. A lease is of 14,000 euros per year for 5 years. A purchase is of a minimum 375,000 purchase of property. Then there is a 2,000 euro donation to a local NGO, which is very important because that helps to integrate these individuals with our communities. Adult dependents have an admin fee of 7,500. When I say adult dependents, it excludes the spouse. So with the original fee of 60,000, that includes the spouse and any children under the 18 years of age. But then if there are children over 18 years of age and the parents or grandparents, those are 7,500 each. Then finally, once everyone is approved, so on and so forth, there is the residence card fee, which is an identity Malta fee of 500 euros per person, which covers a 5-year period.
And you mentioned the timelines earlier. So, what are the current timelines, and where do the delays usually originate then?
Well, we've worked a lot on our internal efficiencies. We've invested a lot in both IT, automation, and in our HR. We've also reworked our process to be in line with the AML6 directive, something that we will talk about later. So with all the efforts, we have brought the timelines. I think we are one of the most competitive again globally, because right now we can come up with a decision within 4 months.
Okay, that's great.
Apart from that, something which is important to add, I believe, is that applicants don't need to worry that much about the timelines, because they have the option, if they want to, apply for a temporary residence permit for 1 year. So any delays from our end will not really affect them, because they will have this temporary residence permit which they can work around.
That's a recent development, right?
It's a recent development, yes.
Excellent. So we know how towards the end of April of this year, the European Union, through the European courts, put some pressure onto Malta when it comes to the citizenship by investment program. Is the residence program facing any external pressures from EU institutions or risks of regulatory tightening?
This is a fluid sector. At the moment, we don't see in the foreseeable future any particular pressures. What is happening and what is going to happen is that this sector will fall under the AML6 directive, which means that agents who operate for a residence by investment will have to abide by certain regulations and reporting, and will be monitored by the local FIU. I think that will give more seriousness to the whole sector. It will give a peace of mind, because now you are regulated. So the sector will become similar to real estate, to financial institutions, to banks. It will be a regulated area. And the more regulated you are, although there are headaches of regulatory requirements, but it will give you the peace of mind of stability. And that is what is required.
And I guess that's a very important aspect for the role of licensed agents in this field. In the era of ChatGPT and the YouTube University, and where everything is DIY, why are licensed agents like ourselves still relevant?
Well, they are relevant because they are the intermediaries who will know what is required and what is expected by the agency. And a family will not know what are our requirements and how best to present. The agent will be able to guide. That's first and foremost. Secondly, we need to make sure that agents are communicating our requirements, our philosophy properly. Again, with everything is online, you will find a lot of rubbish, I have to say, out there. Agents, given that they are regulated, they have to communicate properly, and we want to ensure that applicants are properly guided. They are not given false hopes, and that is the scope of the agents. Thirdly, and it was always important for Malta, and now with the new directives is going to become even more important, is that they know what the requirements from a financial perspective are. All this AML talk, which is happening in Europe, they know what are the requirements, and they will help keep the system clean and transparent.
That's excellent information for both prospective applicants and maybe even some other agents in the field. What would be your parting insight for individuals exploring the MPRP in 2025? What would you tell them to focus on first?
Again, I have to reiterate so many times, selecting a good agent. That is incredibly important. I think they need to see what their needs are. Malta offers products which can cater for a wide array of applicants. I mean, we are an English-speaking country, very stable economically and politically, good quality of life, given that we are a Mediterranean country, very safe jurisdiction, English-speaking. So we do tick a lot of the required boxes. I think best for them is to come and visit us, see for themselves, and then enroll.
Great. Thank you for your time, Jonathan.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, Yakov.
For families and investors considering the Malta Permanent Residence Program, the value of clear and structured guidance cannot be overstated. At Iakovaggius & Associates, our team is ready to provide the expertise and guidance needed to navigate the Malta Permanent Residence Program with ease and confidence.